Hey guys, this is Wolv. I'm finally back to making videos again, and in this one I wanted to explain where I've been for the last few years, some of the things that I've been up to, and some of my plans going forwards for the channel. And so first things first, it's good to see you guys. This is what I actually look like. I've never done a face reveal. Actually, back when I was playing Rocket League a few years ago, I had hair, and then I ended up having alopecia, which at around the time I lost most of my hair was when I stopped playing the game a few years ago. But yeah, anyways, this is what I look like. But yeah, so with this video, I'm not really gonna edit very much of it. I'm gonna kind of go through some of the story and probably put on some like gameplay in the background. But anyways, a few years ago when I was playing the game and, I was making plenty of videos doing drift dribbles, 360 dribbles and everything, I was really loving it. But there was a lot of other stuff going on in my life that was really stressing me out at the time, especially when I was like streaming the most and uploading videos the most. And basically, at that time, I had already had alopecia once, which, if you don't know, that's where your immune system attacks your hair cells on your body and basically gets rid of them. So it's not like a normal like baldness or anything. Like I have almost no hair on my body. So anyways, I had started getting it, started to go away. I was kind of fearful of getting it again and like losing all of my hair. And I was also like going through a breakup at the time. And then I had other stresses that were kind of there and making things a lot harder. And I got to the point where as I was playing the game, even as I got into the top 100, just mentally, I'd say mental health wise, I wasn't in a spot where I could like keep playing it and believe it would be worth it and that it was like worth getting somewhere. I really was not depressed at the time, but I don't think I was bipolar, but I was having a lot of anxiety on certain days and then going back to normal on other days. Not as extreme as bipolar, but it definitely affected me playing the game and uploading YouTube videos. And so I got to a point about 4 years ago. Well, let's see, it was 2022, I think. So yeah, 4 years ago, where I just realized I wasn't happy while I was playing the game. I wasn't happy where things were going in life, and I felt like I needed a change. And so I decided to stop playing the game for a little bit and to go back to college and switch to a music degree. And that was kind of hard to do because I couldn't read sheet music, but I'd already been playing like piano and singing in church for a number of years. And so I had been doing that, and I figured like I want to do something new. I want to like, I don't know, challenge myself and try to do something new and interesting. And so I jumped out of Rocket League fully and yeah, decided to go the music route. Like I wasn't sure if I would go into music production or into performing, although I knew that was unlikely because I didn't have training when I was little. I was self-taught. And so that was a whole adventure. And in the first year, I came back and streamed Rocket League for a moment and did some, I think I did a few videos or something. But it was just way too hard to keep that up along with the music classes I was in, because if any of you have a music degree or have gone for that, it is a lot of classes that they throw at you. And so I didn't have the time to like focus on the game at the same time, but I ended up finding out that I had a really unique singing voice. I have a 5-octave range, and tons of people loved hearing me sing, even though I was going to classes for piano. And so I kept committing to it. I got all the way through the associate's degree, and took a lot of work to do it. But I was actually really happy with where I was in music, and the same level of like practice and focus that I'd put into Rocket League years before, I was all of a sudden putting into my singing voice. And everything seemed like I'd be able to go into writing my own music, being a music artist. And I was planning to like upload videos of like music production and stuff, and to honestly show you guys some of that. But right before I finished the associate's degree, this was about 2 years ago, in September, I believe. It was either September or October. Actually, I think the start of October. Um, I like, while I was teaching a voice lesson, like I'm a music teacher right now. That's what I do. I teach tons of private lessons. And while I was teaching a music lesson or a voice lesson, for whatever reason, and this didn't seem like a very hard note, I felt like something tore in my throat around my hyoid bone, which is a bone that's really involved with your swallowing muscles. And I was doing a lot of singing at the time, teaching, using my voice pretty often, but I thought I was being really careful about it. And all of a sudden, one day, and again, I finished all my music classes at this point. I'm just doing the extra classes to finish the degree plan during that like last semester. And halfway through the last semester, I feel what feels like a tear in my throat. And I wake up the next day and my throat is burning like pretty badly. And I can tell it's like not normal tiredness. And so I decided to wait like 2 weeks to see, is this going to heal itself or is this like something more serious? And the burning started to get a little bit worse. Like I'd wake up in the morning and I'd feel like the right side of my throat was burning. And the more I'd talk, the worse it would get. And so I booked a doctor's appointment, of course, with an ENT to look at my throat. And this will kind of loop back around to what I'm talking about with Rocket League. But again, I kind of want to make this as a unedited kind of story video. And so, yeah, I booked an appointment with a doctor, with an ENT, and hated it, but she stuck a camera down my nose and looked at my vocal cords, and it is not comfortable at all. Depends on where you go sometimes and who's doing it, but it was awful. And she looked at my vocal cords and didn't see anything. My vocal cords looked perfectly fine, and I was still feeling like quite a bit of pain. It was making it hard to teach. I wasn't able to sing in church. At that point, I told them I like need to stop. Something feels wrong with my throat. And this is about a month and a half after the initial injury that I'm having this appointment. And she thought that I had like a lot of signs of like really bad postnasal drip because I live in Texas and Texas like allergies. And so she wanted me to take some kind of a steroid nasal spray. And I don't like steroid sprays because I had a lot of allergies growing up and stuff, and really want to limit the use of steroids as much as possible. I also had to have that for alopecia, which when I was losing my hair, they did steroid injections, and that was not fun, and it worked for a little and then had really bad results. So I don't feel very comfortable about it, but I decided to do the steroid nasal spray, and my throat starts to get way worse over the next month. And I was only supposed to do it like 6 days a week, but my throat starts feeling terrible. And after I teach for like 4 or 5 hours, when I get home, I can barely like talk, is how much of my voice I was losing. And so went back to the doctor, told her it wasn't working, but I'd heard like I'd have to go to a speech therapist to work out some of these things. And so I asked her about it. And now something to make clear is that if you're talking to an ENT about a vocal injury and you're a singer, you need to go to an ENT who knows how to take care of singers and a speech therapist who knows how to take care of singers, which she was not one. And I wasn't aware of that for whatever reason at the time. And so anyways, I ended up going to a speech therapist. She has no clue what to do because she didn't get to sit the video, and she tells me I need to go on 3 weeks of vocal rest. Crazy things happen. I go on 3 weeks of vocal rest, and afterwards I'm in even more severe pain after not speaking for 3 weeks and then trying to speak again. My throat is doing terrible. And so I end up having to wait 4 months to go to a really, really good doctor in Houston, one of the top ones. And I see him, and he's worked with singers, and he diagnoses me with muscle tension dysphonia. And so that was terrible because muscle tension dysphonia, for pretty much almost all the singers I've heard of getting it, is a career ender. It's basically uncontrollable muscle tension that you get while you're using your voice or turning your head, stuff like that. And it gets so painful that it stops you from being able to sing and really use your voice the ways that you'd like to. And again, I should mention, like, it was painful for me singing. It was painful talking. I couldn't like look over my shoulder without feeling pain in my throat. And I actually couldn't exercise at the time because, of course, if I would go for a run, your head is moving up and down. And by the end of it, I was just in like horrible pain. So again, saying all of this, I was in a difficult spot because mentally I'd committed to going the music route, and I ended up finding out like I have a real opportunity with this. And this was a little bit, after I did Rocket League. But initially when I did Rocket League, I was hoping to be a professional player, to make YouTube videos doing it. And I didn't have the mental strength at the time to deal with the real things that were going on in my life. And I didn't have the strength to separate that from me playing Rocket League. And eventually they blended together, and I just ended up hating these things over here, not enjoying the game, and I just couldn't push through it at the time. I didn't have the strength to do it. And so when I went the route of music, I ended up learning like all these different things that I had the ability to do, and it felt pretty amazing because not everyone could do it. I did piano performances, I sang, and it was really fun. But it was really heartbreaking at the time because all of a sudden, mentally it's like, this is the thing I can be great at. Like all my life, I've wanted to be great or amazing or the top at something, wanted to be someone or be remembered for something. And I had committed to being a singer, and just like that, all of a sudden it's like it's gone. And so that was a really hard time to deal with. The doctor had sent me to a specific speech therapist who was supposed to be able to work with singers, and he thought acid reflux might have something to do with it. He also prescribed like a different nasal spray that he thought was not going to cause issues and be way more effective over long-term use. It actually did help a little bit. It reduced some of my pain. And yeah, so I get sent to a speech therapist. Some weird thing happens where the one who's trained to work with singers ends up getting switched out at the last second, and I get a normal speech therapist who has almost no way of helping me. And it's awful. None of the things helped at all. And so this is about a year ago, really about 10 months ago from right now when I'm recording this, that had happened. And I was still dealing with a number of voice issues. I was still like able to teach lessons, but by the time I'd get home, I was in severe pain like every single time. And it wouldn't just go away overnight. When I'd wake up the next morning, my throat was still in pain and still feeling like burning. And so I ended up having to wait a bit longer until eventually seeing the best ENT in Houston for singers, who's worked with like Celine Dion, Tina Turner, a few, like many different really big names. And he was finally able to help, realized like a large amount of it was due to acid reflux, figured out something that could help with it a bunch. And this is back in February of this year, and finally start getting my voice back a little bit. So I know I've spent a long time talking about the voice stuff, but it's really important because I was leaning on this being like a new dream and a thing that I would do and be able to do like no one else. Like the same way that I played Rocket League, trying to do drift dribbles and like playing in a unique manner, I wanted to do the exact same thing in music and with my voice. And so I'm still holding on to it at that point. But in February, the stuff they was able to help me with made a big difference. The speech therapist was outstanding, like one of the best people I've ever worked with. And they were really amazing, and they helped a lot. And a lot of my pain is reduced by like, I'd say 50 to 70%, but I still have to deal with like some of it. You don't really hear it right now in the video, which is good. My voice doesn't feel very dry, but I've actually been streaming a little bit over the last 2.5 weeks. And there are random moments where you hear my voice like go like this, and I can barely speak until I get some water, and then I'm able to speak again. Which annoyingly, the muscle tension in my throat, to give a quick explanation, has been high enough that randomly my vocal cords can get too close and hit each other, and it like makes my voice go like this, and I feel like I can't speak for a moment. But the good thing is that I can sing again. It's just not, it's hard to describe. It's barely enough to like make a song within like maybe 2 or 3 sessions of like trying to record things and put them together and go through all the lyrics and fully record it. And every day after I record it, I wake up the next morning and have like a bit of a cough, or my throat feels really tight, or there's like some kind of lingering pain. And so experiencing all of these things, going through all of this, like over like, I guess, a year and 10 months, 9 months, somewhere around there. It's really like changed the options of things that I can focus on and like feel like I have a good chance of being successful in. Any of you who like watch some of my streams might have known I was really serious about basketball before I did Rocket League. And when I initially started losing my hair when I was 17 for the first time, I like didn't want to go out in public. And so I genuinely switched from playing basketball to playing Rocket League. And at that time when I was 17, which was 8 years ago, I ended up getting up to like the top 15 in 1v1s. And I actually quit at that time because I genuinely didn't think reaching the top 10 and getting on like a Johnny Boy stream and show matches and stuff like that, I like hit this realization that me doing that wouldn't make me happy. And so I took a small break from the game at the time. I know that sounds ridiculous, but there were a lot of things I'd gone through in my life already up to that point that kind of led to me thinking that way. And so after going through all of this stuff more recently, I've had I've had to lock in a lot mentally on just not giving up on different things, and really just waking up and trying every day. And so I've been going to the gym a lot over the last year to try to help some of the muscles not have as much strain in my neck. And I've been doing like everything possible to get my voice up to the best it can feel like. But the reality is I don't know if my voice is going to go back to normal at any point. Some people who go through this thing, it doesn't for them. And so I do have one more option of what I can do with this doctor in a month, which is some kind of a steroid shot. And I don't like doing steroid shots, but with the specific muscle tear and muscle tension that was created by it, I've looked into it really deeply, and there's actually a pretty large chance of success and extremely low to no side effects of it, which I'm pretty serious about some of the side effects, because the alopecia that I got could have been one from an old medication. But yeah, so I've been going on and on about a lot of these medical things, but I really wanted to explain like why I stopped playing the game. It was one of my favorite things like to do in my life that I can't describe to you the joy I get from doing like the 720 dribble and then doing some kind of a backflip and it flying into the net. But what I really wanted in life at the time wasn't to be an amazing Rocket League player. There was other things that were escaping me or just going wrong, and I really didn't know how to like deal with it at the time. Now that I'm a bit older, I'm like 25 now. I have a much stronger ability to deal with things that don't really make sense, especially after some of the things that I've been through. But all in all, like after experiencing this and having to be careful of my voice and all these different things, I don't know, I've really wanted to come back to play Rocket League again and just enjoy the game. And a year ago, I actually came back to it for a moment and played it for like, let's say, a week and a half or something. And then something else happened that really stressed me out. And I was like, not in the game, something in real life. And I was like, I don't want to experience this again. Like, I'm not going to dive into it. And then over the last like 3 weeks, I've just, I don't know, had this competitive drive of like really wanting to play the game again. So in saying all of this, I'm coming back to making videos again and streaming again. And it's strange because it's something that I've kind of been forced into. And I believe in God. I'm a Christian, and it's really hard to deal with the amount of things that I've been through, and to like just the question of a loving God. How does this happen? How did all these things in the world happen? Like all these questions I've had to go through in my mind and start to understand what I really think about things. And there's a part of me that's like feeling like, you know, after losing the ability to fully use my voice, like that part of my life or that new dream I had, it's just like over. There's nothing I can do with it. But even that's not fully true. But another part of me is like, well, maybe it's an opportunity to go back into streaming and playing this game and maybe trying to be one of the top players in it. Like that would be really fun or motivating if after like 3 or 4 years of not playing this game, if I could get back into the top 100 or make it pro or something like that. I don't know if that's what, like as far as going pro, if I really want to do that. But some part of me wants to show that like all this stuff can happen to me and I can still come back and win at something, or still be one of the top people in the world at doing something. And that honestly really excites me. So I'm still planning to make music as much as my voice can handle, but in the meantime, trying to see if there's anything else that can be done for it. I'm going to start playing the game again and start streaming again, and then recording videos, maybe doing some funny things. I don't know if I'll play other games and stream them because my schedule's actually really tight. I do quite a bit of teaching, and that does affect how much I can use my voice when it comes to live streaming with talking. Talking is actually more straining than singing, But for me, the specific muscle coordination that I use when singing, for whatever reason, that's like way tighter than my speaking voice. So there's a lot of strange things going on with my voice that don't happen to a normal human being for whatever reason. Maybe that's tied to why I have a 5-octave range or something like that. I don't know. There's just strange things with it. But all in all, I'm coming back to playing the game again. And yeah, there's a part of me that's just like, I don't know, I want to dominate. I want to do something really fun and really interesting in it, and just be memorable in that way. So I'll be making music, which I'll probably use in the background of some of my videos, and yeah, I don't know, I'll come up with some like stupid or funny things to do when it comes to dribbling or trying to learn new moves. Probably some reaction videos to some of the insane new players in the game, because it's been like about 3 years since I've really looked at it, and 4 years since I tried to be a real competitive top player in the game. But a lot of my mechanics are like still there, which is kind of fun, and I don't know, I'm interested to see what I can actually do in the game. So this video kind of explains where I've been, some of my mentality, and the things I've been experiencing. But there's a part of me that I think all of us can relate to, that when you go through something difficult, when you go through things in life that make you wonder, like, why is this happening to me? Like, it's not the end. There's still other routes, there's still opportunities, but a lot of us get shut down and like shut out whenever those things happen. And there's a real level of like needing to recover from it, either emotionally or mentally. But there's a part in all of us that's able to overcome these kinds of things, you know? And even if you have to change the route that you're going on. And there's a positive thought in my head that's like, you know, maybe for some reason I'm supposed to come back to this and there's something good that would come out of me doing Rocket League, and then I'd be able to do music at the same time. I really don't know what route it's going to end up going, but there's just a part of me that believes that there's a good reason for it. And even if there isn't a good reason, somehow I can find a path that's going to lead to something good. Okay, had to pause for a moment, but anyways, picking up from where I left off, yeah, there's a part of me that just feels like even if I'm not feeling at my best or things aren't going the way that I want them to in life, I can still like be entertaining for y'all or make someone else's day better, you know? The more you end up focusing on yourself and what's going on in your life, the smaller your world becomes, and like the more things revolve around you. And the people who are like the least depressed are the ones who are looking out and focusing on other people. And I think that right now is like what my goal is to do is, you know, instead of getting lost and thinking about things or feeling bad or feeling like this about how things have gone, I can use the time just, I don't know, being there for other people. So I'll be going back to Rocket League and going back to spin dribbles and all the kinds of fun stuff I can do in the game. But I'm really excited for this stage because it's something that I honestly didn't feel like a great sense of closure on leaving behind. And I didn't think I'd come back to playing the game at all at any point. But going through these different things in life, of course, has kind of forced me to change the route I was going on. So anyways, this is a whole video going over this. If y'all have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Honestly, for everyone who's been showing up to the streams, like Nightmare, Ignited, Luke, and then Flamingo as well. And let me make sure I'm not missing anyone. Someone else named Hig, and then something else. But yeah, anyways, for everyone who's been like coming into the streams, it's really meant a lot. It's been pretty fun to do. I've just been doing them on Twitch for like the last 2.5 weeks. I'm gonna be multi-streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, just because, well, for obvious reasons, I want it to grow. So I'm gonna do that. I kind of have a content plan for what I'm gonna be doing as well. But I hope everyone's been having a good time, hopefully an easier time than I felt like I've been having over the last few years. But it's good to, well, I can't see y'all again. It's good to be back talking to y'all. And yeah, find out this is what I look like. So you'll see some face cams and stuff like that in videos. But I hope you all have an awesome rest of your week or time doing whatever. And I will see you all soon. Bye.